Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know Mr. DeFazio, Ranking Member DeFazio, had talked about Middle Eastern Airlines and the unfair competition. We want to make sure that we have rules that are in place that help the airlines, the airline employees, and the flying public. I wanted to raise another related issue in regard to international competition in the Norwegian Air International. As most of you probably know, NIA is an Irish, flying as an Irish airline with flight crews employed by contracts that are governed by the laws of several Asian countries. Sort of leaves you wondering who the regulator is here. Clearly, well, unfortunately, this was approved here in the U.S. I would assume that going forward, there may be more attempts to do something similar. I think it really undermines our open skies agreement in regard to maintaining labor standards. And so I wanted to ask Ms. Nelson what the effect of something such as NIA has on your members' employees.
Thank you, Congressman Lipinski. Yes, this is a grave concern for us. What Norwegian has done here is they have created a subsidiary with the Norwegian name to essentially hoodwink the public and regulators to believe that they are going to be flying under the same standards, high standards that we would expect from Norway. As a signatory to the U.S.-EU Open Skies Agreement that was negotiated based on the idea that we would maintain the high labor standards in the U.S. and EU, none of the other provisions would have gone forward unless that first standard was met. And yet, the NAI permit was granted, setting aside, essentially, Article 17 bis. Not saying that it wasn't being violated. It's being violated with this flag of convenience in Ireland, which will allow ADECO or OSM, essentially these temp agencies that hire out aviation workers, pilots and flight attendants and other workers, from anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world where they can find the lowest labor standards. We cannot compete with that. Not only that, but there are US-based Norwegian flight attendants working for Norwegian today. What Norwegian has attempted to do is to also hoodwink the public into believing that the NAI certificate needed to be approved in order to offer U.S. jobs, when in fact we have no assurances from Norwegian that they will continue to hire under U.S. or European contracts once this takes hold. Our European counterparts told us that their airlines were very honest with them, that they were opposed to this flag of convenience model that NAI sets up. But if it was approved, they will have to immediately compete within 2 years' time. SAS has already filed for an Irish certificate just since this permit has been approved. So we are seeing this. This is going to be a faster destruction than there was with the flag of convenience model with U.S. shipping, where now we see Liberians' flags flying in our ports. All of our airlines will be choked out because they will not be able to compete. The flight attendants flying for Norwegian here today have just unionized. They are voting right now to join the Association of Flight Attendants because we are going to beat back these temp agencies who form short-term contracts with them when they get too old, too fat, they're the wrong color, they don't go along, they can just end their contracts when it comes to the next time. They only have a 4-year pay scale because they do not intend for these people to stick around. These are some things that we beat back in 1946. And this is where our aviation industry is headed if we allow the flag of convenience to remain in place, if we allow Norwegian to continue to hoodwink the public and allow other carriers to follow their suit, to follow this flag of convenience model for putting down their flag wherever they need to in the world so they can find the lowest labor standards and compete based on that. Our airlines can't compete, U.S. aviation workers can't compete, and the reality is that 300,000 good U.S. aviation jobs are at stake here.
Thank you. Can I have another minute, Mr. Chairman? You can say no. All right, I will yield back.
Well, no, go ahead. Take-
All right, very quickly, Mr. Tilden, Mr. Larson went through some of what you're doing to increase efficiency. I know you've done some work with, you did a flight with biomass fuel. You work with Boeing. Boeing uses the CLEAN program to research for engine efficiency. Is this something that's also very helpful to what you are trying to do with efficiency?
It is. We're really proud. I think it's still the case that Alaska Airlines has the most fuel-efficient fleet in the industry. That's also true of Horizon Air for regional airlines. And we have been a big partner with anybody that approaches us with biofuels or other alternative fuels. Well, we're really, there's a big role for the science community and the engine manufacturers and others in that. What we're really trying to do is demonstrate that there's a market. If somebody can bring a new fuel to the market, we've run several of these flights, commercial flights with biofuels on board, just to demonstrate if this fuel does come to market in a feasible fashion, we'll buy it.
All right, thank you. I yield back.
Thanks.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr.